So Spencer goes, here's what you do. He goes, you stand up, you lean back. The horse will do all the rest. I'm going, that horse better do all the rest because I have no effing idea what the hell we're doing right now, right? So, I stand up, I lean back, and the horse starts moving forward, and the horse just goes, and we're on the beach. Simple as that. And that was like another lesson that I learned, and it was about having the right coaching, right? Having a mentor. Here was this guy, Spencer. Now, by the way, only 19 years old, but this is what he did every single day. And he grew up his whole life working on that ranch. And he understood how the horse works. He understood the strategy. He understood how to make things easier for you. That's what mentors do, by the way. They help take all of the learning that might have happened, all of the fright, and he instilled confidence in me. Trust me, I still had a shitload of doubts hitting that bluff. But I was like, all right, I'll give it a go. And it worked. And that's what happens. If you have a great mentor, things work really greatly. So now we finally get down to the beach, right? Now, it was beautiful. It was low tide. It was in September, so it was after the season. So the beach is empty. And we're walking along this amazing beach, kind of walking, trotting a little bit. And then Lisa says, hey, Spencer, can we let the horses run? Now, for those of you unfamiliar with horseback riding, when she said run, she meant what? Sorry, couldn't hear you? Yeah, she meant gallop, right? That's the fast speed. That's like the sprinting, the 100-yard dash of running on the horses, right? So remember, my experience on the horse, lollipop when I was 5 years old. Now, I'm sitting on this giant animal of a horse, and like there's like a lot of internal dialogue going on. How many of you have an inside voice, an internal voice? Something that talks to you, right? So my little voice wasn't talking to me in this moment, because she goes, hey, Spencer, can we let the horses run? He's like, yeah, sure. Right? Well, the kid's 19 years old. What are you going to sue him? He's not going to get anything. He's like, do whatever the hell you want. It's just the two of us, right? So, yeah, so that little voice inside of my head is like screaming at me. It is screaming, no, don't do it. Do not run. Christopher Reeve, paralysis. Do not gallop. Right? So now listen, while that little voice inside of my head is screaming all those things to me, on the outside of my head, my ears heard my lips say, giddy up, as my legs involuntarily flared out behind me and kicked the horse in the ass. With that, King goes, and takes off down the beach, and he shoots. It was like he got shot out of a cannon. But here's something amazing happened. Instead of going up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down, that horse just went whoosh. I mean, literally, my hat flew off. The wind blew through what was left of my hair. And here's what it is. It's something amazing happened. And this is what I learned. You gotta go for it. In 35 seconds, we had gone further than we had gone in the previous hour. And instead of going up and down and up and down and up and down, the horse just went whoosh. It was smooth. It was as if it was on rails. Once I let go of the fears, I was able to accomplish so much. It was so much fun. It was so exciting. And we went so much further because I was willing to commit, to let go of the brakes, to stop being afraid, to trust a mentor. And if you do that, if you're willing to go for it without reservation, you will be amazed at how much you can accomplish, how far you can go, and how easy it will be. You got to go for it. You willing to go for it? Let me get a giddy up. Giddy up. Come on, do it again. Giddy up. One more time. All right, hee-haw, right? So part of that is the way you communicate with people. Part of that going for it is getting good at explaining what you do. So what does that entail? Well, number one, here's what I tell people when I coach with them, when I work with them. And, some of the people that I work with they're putting on seminars and stuff like that. Some of them are just small businessmen. Some of them are investors looking to solicit other investors. How do you attract them into you? Number one, what's on there? What's the first thing on that list? Be who you are. Don't bullshit me, don't bullshit them. How many of you can smell bullshit like a mile away? How long does it take? Like seconds, right? You either know somebody's the real deal or you know they're not. You wouldn't be in this room if you didn't think Walter and his team were the real deal. You're here because you know that he is. Be authentic. Be who you are. Not everybody's going to like you. Boo freaking who. There's always going to be people that don't like you. That's okay. Be okay with that. Stop trying to be liked by other people. I spent the early part of my life, up until I was probably 30 years old, I wanted to be liked. I wanted everybody to like me, and I always tried to fit in and say the right things and be who that was. And you know what? I was miserable. Miserable. And my life was unsatisfying, and I always felt like a fraud because I tried to be what you wanted me to be instead of what I am. And when I started basically saying, I don't give a shit anymore. I don't care what you think. I care what I think. The funny thing happens. When you stop caring what other people think about you, when you stop caring whether or not they like you, more people like you. It is the strangest freaking thing ever. But just be who you are. Be authentic. Number two, be engaging. And by engaging, that means be about them. People love to hear themselves talk. My best business meetings are the ones when I don't say anything other than hello, what's going on? And then I shut up and I'll just let them talk. They'll talk for a half an hour and they go, oh my God, that was the best meeting ever. I got so much out of it. Thank you so much. Just be about them, right? Now here's the other one. This is really important. Be competent, right? Don't try to sell something that you're not a master of. Don't try to sell something that you're not good at. But also about being competent means be competent in the way you explain what you do. There are people, and I know for a fact because I've seen it over and over and over again for 15 years now as a speaker, but before that, even in my business, I saw the same thing going on. There are people that have great value to offer. They have great knowledge, but they explain it so freaking poorly. Not only do you not convince them, you actually get people to trash talk you. Like, this guy's an idiot. Because you just didn't know how to talk about what you do. Get good at it so that everybody sees you as the expert, the go-to person. And if you do that, then you'll start to have more people come. More people start to follow you, that sort of thing. Does everybody get that? Inspire them somehow. Show them the hope of change. Explain what you do, but remember to explain how it helps them, and then give them that inspiration. Show them the hope. Communicate how you can make their lives a little bit different so that they can understand how you can do that. And finally, and this one is the most important one, be clear and concise. Sometimes people talk because they love to hear their own freaking voice. How many of you have somebody like this? If that person is married to you, don't point to them. But how many of you have somebody in your life in some realm of business associate, a family member that is they just talk. And once they start, it's like you have to WD-40 their jaw so they don't lock up. You know what I'm talking about, right? Be clear and concise. And one of the reasons for that is this. When you over-communicate, you confuse them. Confused people don't take action. Confused people don't like that. When you overcomplicate it, what happens is the people you're communicating with feel stupid because I don't understand. And they don't want to. By the way, how many of you love feeling stupid? Not a hand. Interesting. Kind of universal. None of us likes feeling stupid. But when you say stuff in front of a room, when you communicate with a potential investor, when you communicate with a business partner, and you say something that makes them feel stupid, psychologically, they're like, well, I really don't want to. They don't know why. Sometimes they call it cognitive dissonance. They're not really sure what's going on, but something is a little off, and I just don't feel good about this interaction right now. And it's because something happened in your communication that made them not feel good about themselves. Now, I'm not saying to just kiss their ass. I mean, there is plenty of lip balm for that if that's what you want to do. But what I'm talking about is being clear about in your communication. Be concise and make sure that you're on point with what you're explaining. If you do that, it's going to be a lot better. Regarding communication, there's a couple of things, and these are kind of ghoul points for you to keep in mind. I want to share this with you. Number one is physiology. What do you look like when you're talking? What does it look like to your audience? Now, by the way, when I say audience, the audience might be this, right? 100 people in a room, that might be an audience. An audience might be how many? One person. What does it look like to that person? They're going to notice the way you walk. They're going to notice the way you stand. They're going to notice the way you move your hands. They're going to notice if you shoot a video on a porch and do this and make everybody seasick. Sorry, but I had to point that out from yesterday. They're going to notice if you're fidgety, if you seem uncomfortable, that power standing. You know, you can move around. I move around all the time, but I'm not like nervously kind of trotting back and forth, PowerPoint. You know, it's kind of, you know, you own who you are, own your confidence, own your look. How do you stand? How do you move around? When you move somewhere, especially if you're on stage, move intentionally. When you stop to make a point, stop intentionally. Now, there are people, if you want to get into it, they talk about, go over here if you want to anchor this or anchor. I'm like, you know what? Listen, I'm going to just stand where it feels natural for me because that's who I want to be, all right? Physiology. Next one is phraseology. What does it sound like when you say it? When you deliver, when you're talking to somebody. How many of you have ever gone to school? Some of you haven't gone to school. All right. Or you know somebody that's gone to school, right? And you've had that teacher that just droned on. It's like the Charlie Brown teacher. There is legitimate scientific research that shows when you talk to somebody uninterrupted for more than 5 minutes without asking them to do something, their brain starts to shift into theta wave. Theta wave is the same wave exhibited by people who are in coma. So you could literally talk someone to near death, boring the shit out of them. Don't do that. It's the way you say it, so move around. Sometimes, have you noticed sometimes I increase my speed and sometimes I slow it down a little bit. And sometimes I raise my voice and sometimes I lower it a little bit. And then sometimes I just say, nothing, right? How you do that, that's all parts of the communication that you have. One of the best ways to market your services, and we talk about sales, marketing is the key. One of the best ways to market your services is by speaking to live people. Now, virtual live or live, best. Virtual live, second best. Webinars, Zoom meetings, things that are online where they can see you moving and interacting because people get a feel for who you are that way. But if you're not using these strategies while you're doing that, you're compromising that communication and you're not explaining and you're not delivering your value in a way that it can. So you've got to be sure that you do that. Say, I can do that. Turn to your neighbor, give him a high five and go, I know you can. Good job, everybody. Good job. The next one on there is Phraseology. And this is one of my favorite parts about being up in front of the stage is you can make up words. You can do whatever you want when you're up here, right? It's kind of fun. So Phraseology is how does the audience feel while you're delivering some information, right? So, what you want to try to do is, one, establish a connection, establish rapport. And then you also want to be who you are, so don't fake it, Listen, if you curse in real life, depending on your audience, sometimes I have to reel it in a little bit, but I realize this group could probably handle it, all right? But this is how I talk outside here. What you see here, some of you were talking to me last night, sounds kind of similar, right? There's no difference. I'm who I am. And it took me a while to do that, by the way. When I first started speaking, I didn't sound like me. I sounded like my mentor. Or I tried to. And I will tell you this, I sucked at it because I wasn't who I was. When you're communicating, be who you are, be authentic. And one of the best ways to do that is by telling what? Stories. Have I been telling you a couple of stories so far? Have you enjoyed them? By the way, I just told you a couple of stories. Did you learn along the way? What? You can enjoy a story and learn at the same time? Holy crap, this is amazing. Somebody should write this down. Kind of fun, right? And you can have fun. Tell things that are exciting for you. Tell stories. Stories enroll people. Do you know how to get everyone's attention? Would you like me to share that with you? Can I tell you guys a story? That's how you do it. Can I tell you a story? Listen, from childhood on, would you like to hear a story from mom and dad, right? We're brought up to learn through storytelling. Through the entire history of humankind, knowledge was passed down using stories. Instead, we've gotten bullet points and delivery of data dumps, which just bore the crap out of everybody and really do nothing to convey your value to other people. I want you to get good at letting people know what you do. You know, I was sitting in my living room the other night, and an advertisement came on for a realtor. And and normally the commercials come on, and I'm just watching stuff, and I was tuning out because I was also reading a book at the same time, and all of a sudden I was like, huh? And it was this woman, and now I don't remember the last name or her company. Her first name is Dale, with a little d, she spells it. So they call her Little D. I'm going to freaking find out who she was. But her whole minute-long commercial was her talking about creating homes for families and helping people get out of financial hardship. It wasn't about my rates or how quickly I'll help you sell your home or all the other features that every other realtor promotes. She told a story about why she got into it, about how it was important to her family, and how proud she was of the lives she had changed. I was like, I'd hire her. It was amazing. I want you to start thinking about telling the story about what you do. Here's a guy, his name is Chris Naugle. Now, I put this photo up for two reasons. Number one, Chris is amazing. Number two, I swear to God, I have a little bit of a man crush on him. He's a good-looking dude, all right? But Chris is a realtor and investor in Buffalo, New York. He actually had an HGTV pilot series called Risky Builders. They did an episode or two with he and his wife. He is a dynamo of a young man. He's he's a certified financial planner. He's an he still does it, but professional snowboarder, real estate investor, and he's just started something, and I helped him build Money School, where he talks about investment strategies. We sat down for 2 days, locked in a room, and we built out his entire presentation, the way he communicated what he wanted to do for people. His mission is to help people create financial security. That's why he developed Money School. And we helped him build his webinar and his presentation. So he has a webinar, but he does a lot of live speaking as well. In 1 year, he did $4.8 million in sales using the communication tool we built. This is powerful stuff, ladies and gentlemen. And you can do this too. It's just a matter of getting a little clarity on what your mission is, getting clear about your value. You know, one of the things that I run into with people all the time is that they don't see their own value. You know, how many times have you had somebody go up and tell you something, you go, oh no, that's not. It is you. That's why they saw it. They saw it in you. What I'm really great at is helping people identify the value they offer, and what I'm really, really good at is helping you put it to words, so that it makes sense to other people, so that they get buy-in into your mission, into your investments, into your business. They want to support you. They want to help you grow. They want to give you their money. They want to buy courses from you. You have to get good at communicating what you do. I don't care what you do from a business perspective or what you do from an investment perspective, communication is a major, major component of that. And the better you get at communicating your value and the benefit you deliver to others, the better you're going to do in every aspect of your life.